everyone, thanks for tuning in at X-Rays, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. I'm your host, Miles, and I'm here to connect you with people, insights, and opportunities once again, and hopefully make you better at what you do. And back here with me is Ian Erskine. With over 4 decades of global experience, he's been at the forefront of helping organizations not just meet standards, but truly live them. From driving corporate social responsibility to embedding sustainability and excellence into the core of businesses, his work has consistently centered around one key idea: people are the real engine behind performance. And what we're going to talk about today is something very practical, very relevant, very interesting: how technology meets total quality management through smart, scalable tools. So, here's the Managing Director and CEO of ACI Global and e-Quip. Hi, Ian.
Welcome once again, young lady, and I trust you had a wonderful weekend and celebration of your mother-in-law's birthday. Happy
Yes.
birthday in the future to her. Well
Yes,
done.
thank you.
And I'm told you're also a master chef in cooking sushi or preparing sushi, so well done. And yes, and looking very much forward to this episode because it's basically everything we do is put into a number of toolkits that we can offer people and organisations. Hence, we talk about equip the workforce and the workplace.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Ian, for your thoughtful words, and always great to have you back. 74 episodes in, and somehow we still find new ground to cover. And especially this one is really interesting because we're getting into the ISO equip quality TQM software toolkits. And more importantly, how organizations can actually equip their workforce and workplace in a way that drives real everyday accelerating continuous improvement, not just theory. So, first off, we've spoken a lot in the past about standards and certification, Ian. But this time, let's zoom in on the practical side. How does the ISO equip quality TQM software toolkit actually help organizations move from just understanding ISO to truly living total quality management day to day?
Well, that's a great question,
Thank you.
young lady, and I guess put simply, it's all to do with ensuring employees are engaged. And there are four main toolkits. With each toolkit, we have packed with measures to better understand total quality management (TQM),
Mhm.
as this is more than ISO. When it's all said and done, ISO standards are only guidelines.
Uh-huh.
ISO standards are not compliance. ISO standards don't tell you what to do or how to run your own business
Mhm.
because the organisation themselves, the directors and the employees, they all know what should be done and what is done on a daily basis for them to be able to go home happy at night and come home fully engaged to uh, create extra special things the next day. And I guess that's what we've done with the toolkits is to actually add a whole heap of features, and we'll talk
Uh-huh.
about that a little bit later.
Mhm.
But they're all structured to each different person's needs. So we have a toolkit there for a single user, and then we have separate toolkits for different size organisations.
Mhm.
But to truly embrace TQM, and to achieve an outcome of sustained success, the journey needs to be undertaken, and this is where our toolkits provide a structured and practical process to do this.
Thank you for giving us the overview, Ian, because many businesses know what ISO is, but the gap is always in execution, I suppose, turning it into something people actually use daily or on a daily basis. I think that's where the real value is. And building on that, because this is where it gets interesting, I'm sure you've talked at least once about equip your workforce and workplace. So could you tell us what does that really look like in action when it comes to people development, people engagement, and making teams genuinely future ready?
Well, this is interesting, and I guess it's even a journey that ACI Global has undertaken to where we're at now. And we first started by just simply putting together courses for people. But in the early days, we never really tied that into a specific organization because many years ago, the traditional way of doing training was that you would set training up and you'd have either a template or a make-believe company and things like that. And after a certain period of time, our clients came to us and said, why can't we tie our training into our organization that we work for?
Mhm.
So hence that changed everything. That actually then that created the impetus for ACI Global to really step out into this separate area to offer our training relevant to an organisation. And then, of course, as you know, a number of years ago when we bought e-Quip, which is the platform for all our learning and things like that and training courses, that gave us even the extra strength to just step out and say, well, okay, this is actually what we're doing. We're not just equipping a workplace, we're equipping the workforce and the workplace. Because if
Mhm.
you don't equip the workforce, the workplace will remain stagnant and you will not achieve sustained success.
Mhm.
And hence the ability for us to be able to, and again, going back to how equip was structured, it was structured on a very simple philosophy based around people learning nuggets. So all the training courses are separated in specific sections, and as people move through that, either they're deemed competent or not yet competent, and that's a situation where the facilitator or the trainer will step them back and say, okay, you need to consider this. Think about popping that extra evidence into your answer so that when we have our one-on-one discussions, you can then discuss that with me to demonstrate a better understanding. And
Mhm.
I guess that's where we come from. And again, as 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 the standards and even industry standards are now evolving, there's a greater emphasis on people engagement and ensuring that they don't flounder in the workplace. So that's where you need to be able to use the e-Quip toolkits, where within the toolkits, we have the ability to measure and verify a person's skills as they perform their jobs.
Yeah.
And and by doing that, you don't end up in a catch-up situation where you find, wow, there's been a huge mistake. The parts have gone out and they're missing a part and it doesn't work correctly.
Mhm.
Whereas if the person is verified with his skills on an ongoing basis, that rework, that incidence of errors happening is minimized to the point where then you actually then achieve high achievers.
Yeah.
Because within the workplace, if you can see that your job's being done well, you stop, you look over it. It's a bit like when I finish mowing the lawn on the Saturday afternoon. I have a look over it. Okay, I haven't missed anything and things like that, and it looks
Mhm.
really good. Now, again, that's what we're striving to get at with people
Mhm.
is to understand TQM, which is total quality management. Do it once, do it right.
Mhm.
And this flows from your workplace, employees, and high achiever status. And again, do it once, do it right.
Mhm. So in the training modules or the toolkits that they have, there's no wastage. Everything is useful as it's all customized for that particular organization. I mean, only those that are necessary for their people and business. And from a business perspective, even in sales perspective, when your people are engaged and developing consistently, everything else becomes easier. I mean, in terms of performance, culture, even retention, which naturally brings me to leadership, Ian, because tools are great, yes, but we know leadership drives adoption. How do you see platforms like Equip shaping future ready leadership, especially in organizations trying to balance compliance through conformance with real innovation and agility?
Well, that's a very interesting point because when we talk about future ready leadership, and it's all well and good to say, okay, so as people gain the knowledge, they go through additional training and so forth, they achieve the ability to be a leader. Now, yes, leaders are born, but leaders can be developed. And part of that development process and what we have in each of the toolkits, within each of the toolkits, we have an ISO and industry expert and facilitator. That's specifically for the single courses, but even for the single user package, but for all the other packages for the organisations,
Mm-hmm.
we're advising that the organisation and will provide the industry and ISO expert and facilitator, and we advise them and encourage them to put them on a retainer so they
Mm-hmm.
become part of the business. So on an ongoing basis, that industry expert is there to mentor and facilitate the workers
Uh-huh.
within the workforce
Mm-hmm.
of that organisation. And that's a critical addition which we've added in to it because I look back and that's what I actually do as an external auditor. I always say when I leave, don't forget I'm only a phone call away. So if they've got an issue or they've got a question, they always know they can get on the phone and ring me up and I'll give them the advice, right? I don't tell them how to do it because that would then be a conflict, right? And this is all based on the ability within the toolkits to specifically add value to the organization.
Yes.
Because again, as an auditor, I say to people, I don't deserve to come back if I can't, on an ongoing basis, add
Mm-hmm.
value to your business. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And going back to the ISO standards do not tell the business how for them to run
Mm-hmm.
their business. All ISO has done is put together some guidance standards to give you some guidance in how the processes can be formulated and how they may or may not look like, right?
Yeah.
And that often is quite a difficult hurdle for people to, and even organisations, to stop and get an understanding of because quite often I hear people say, "Oh, we need the ISO ticks which demonstrate that we do things correctly."
Uh-huh.
And I always go back to them. I say, "No, what demonstrates that you do things correctly is your employees are engaged, your employees understand TQM, your employees understand whatever job they do it once, do it right."
Mm-hmm.
And you, as an organization, as leaders, are out there demonstrating to all your followers, your supporters, your clients, that whatever product you're delivering or whatever service you're delivering to them is at the highest ever quality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's where you get the ability to demonstrate this very fact that um, at all times,